For me as an artist, I like to use a silicone base. And what that does is silicone acts as an agent which blocks the sebaceous glands from producing oil, and it's non-communogenic and non-actinogenic, which means it can't harbor bacteria or produce bacteria, okay? In addition to that, so many people ask me, Alexa, is your makeup hypoallergenic? Because, I use Almay and I use it because it's, it's hypoallergenic. And they don't know what they're talking about, because the makeup industry is trying to phase out the word hypoallergenic because it's what you're allergic to. And most people are allergic to frigging red light 32, which is a base ingredient that gives a warm glow in any kind of color. So by eliminating red light 32 from everything, you're making it hypoallergenic. But people are allergic to anything. So you could be allergic to a particular kind of cilia or some kind of glycerin, and that could be what you're allergic to. So worrying if something is hypoallergenic is irrelevant. You have to know exactly the ingredient that you're allergic to, because there's no way you could actually be allergic to hypoallergenic makeup, because there could be a base ingredient in there that would make your skin flare up. Non-communogenic and non-actinogenic, meaning again a product's ability for it to not harbor or produce bacteria, is what you're looking for, and that's all the products that I use. Now, I put the silicone base down, and it's non-communogenic and non-actinogenic, so it's not harboring bacteria or producing bacteria. And for lack of a better word, it acts as a spackle. So you're pressing it onto the face. It fills in fine lines, wrinkles, and pockmarks, and it blocks the sebaceous glands from producing oil. And you're not going to get any cysts or anything like that. There are products that you can use as a base, which, you can apply to this area. And I have to tell people, this will totally shut down shop on your face if you're oily and you know that you are a crazy dancer, but say hello to cysts the next day. So that's going to bring me to my next point about skincare. So everything is within reason. So I shut down the face within reason. I'm not completely shutting it down, because if you're blocking the sebaceous glands to the point that they can't breathe, you will get a blemish the next day. So that's why I choose to use the silicone that I use. So you have your base. Now, when you're airbrushing a person, if I'm airbrushing a person, I am going to take the foundation, I'm going to put it in there, and a foundation has to be diluted by its base, okay? So there's typically a few different bases of foundation. There's water base, there's silicone base, and there is alcohol base, which is what typically temp tattoo is, but I don't like spraying people with alcohol on their face because I think that's bad. So I'm a big fan of, silicone-based foundations, because when you have to make something thin enough to run through a compressor, you have to dilute it by its base, because it'll reject the opposite of its base. It's a little chemistry, but I hope I'm keeping you with me here. So when I take a silicone-based foundation, I dilute it with a little bit more silicone, stir it up together, and then I'll add a couple other things here and there, which all I make sure have the same base. And when being atomized and sprayed onto the face, because that's what essentially airbrush does, it atomizes and sprays the foundation onto the face, you are covering a lot more surface area than you would normally cover. But in addition to that, you're using a third of the amount of foundation that you normally would. So if you're a July bride, an August bride, and you don't like to wear a lot of makeup, airbrush is perfect for you, because you're using less foundation and it's staying on longer because you're using more silicone, which in turn blocks the sebaceous glands from producing oil in a reasonable way. That's the beauty of airbrush. In addition to that, there are so many things that you can do with it. I mean, as far as airbrushing goes, I like to add a very signature thing that I do is a beautiful cheek highlight. You can contour people down. What you can do also, people don't realize this is your collarbone right here. When you push your shoulder forward, this bone pops out. So if you take a little bit of strobe fluid and you pop it on here, and then you take this and you shade it in here and here, all of a sudden the water bloat gut goes away, because people are like, oh my God, did you lose weight? And you're like, no, I just have strobe fluid airbrushed on my collarbone. But that is part of the beauty of airbrush makeup. It's being micronized, it's being sprayed, it feels like nothing is on your face. You also feel super cool because everybody's like, what is that she's doing to you? That's so interesting. But also, you're helping out the photographer a great deal, because just like the television standards have risen, so too has photography. And these photographs are going to be with you for the rest of your life. And you know what? 50 years down the road, you're not going to remember if you sprung for the extra $100 for your makeup. All you do is you look at yourself in a picture. I know when I go to a website, if I'm looking for a picture of myself, or if somebody says, oh, I emailed you pictures and there's a group of us, people are egotistical. Let's face it. You will always look at yourself, your outfit, your hair, your makeup, and how you look that day. And you want to make sure that those photos are flawless. And having an airbrush application on that day, you're not considering the makeup that's going to be done that, for that first hour when you do those pictures, but you want to make sure that that makeup stays on the entire night and is resilient and looks beautiful. And that's the great thing about airbrush. You're looking flawless on the most important day of your life, and you feel like nothing's on your face. So you're not walking around with 15 pounds of makeup and feeling like Sweats McGee. You are just looking flawless and radiant, and you're giving your photographer something beautiful to work with, because the airbrush makeup shows up so much better in photos because it rises to the standard that all the new cameras have with their pixelation. So that's the beauty of airbrush makeup. And that's why I think it's so important. And I'm going to do some demos for you to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't choose to go with me, just make sure that, you're looking and you're investigating while people are airbrushing you. You ask what kind of compressor you're using. Not to say that regular makeup isn't beautiful, but it is a nice treat for yourself for your wedding day, because the photos are going to be so zoomed in, they're going to be so close to your face, and you want to make sure that your canvas, your face, is at its saturation of potential. And as an artist, I feel that having an airbrush gun is just like having another brush, but it's a multi-purpose brush that gives me more control as an artist. So that's why I do recommend airbrush makeup. And as far as things that are going on in my life right now, I'll give you a quick little snippet, because I think that I'm trying to make what I thought would be a 10-minute webisode, a half hour of just me rambling. I think that I should just tell you a couple things that are going on, which I'm excited about. I just finished a project with thetopsecret.com, and what that is it's an online sample sale, and we did some knits for Tricky Threads and Super Rifle Denim. I airbrushed the guy, which was a nice treat. I did like a mixture of things, so that his skin had a nice glow, but he wasn't girly, and then I did his hair all textured. And for the girl, I did a look change. She actually had my earrings on, which was cool. These are my Liz Palco's, I think, earrings. And so that was cool. And what else do I have? Oh, Planet Verge. If you go see my friend Joelle at planetverge.com, she has an upcoming TV show called On the Verge. And this morning I met her and the other two hosts at Posh Boutique, and we stylized them for the cover of their new TV show. And we picked all these awesome outfits, and it was great. And she got to meet Kim, my friend, the owner of the boutique, which was really cool. And what's even better about that is Joelle is going to be doing an episode on me, which I'm super excited about. So that's pretty much it. I have another upcoming thing that I'm not talking about yet because I'm crossing my fingers, but there's lots of stuff that you can read about me in the press section. And basically, I just wanted to introduce myself to you guys and let you know that, for all the brides that I've had, Becky, Jessica, Kelly, all of my buds that I talk to all the time, I just want to thank you for always putting smiley faces on my Facebook and believing me and congratulating me when I have, silly little status updates of the things that I'm excited about. And, of course, I just want to thank my parents because, without them, I wouldn't have been able to follow my passion. And I just think that this is a great outlet for you guys to meet me and know what you're getting yourself into. Because if you're looking for a conservative little quiet girl to do your makeup on your wedding day that has no idea what she's talking about, not me. So that's Fine the Glam Fairy, and I have glitter dripping from my logo, and I just want you to know that I love you all. And if you want some more webisodes, let me know. If you think that this is boring, stupid shit, you can let me know that too. But I thought this would be a great outlet for me to say hi. And if you want to check out my dad, he is peterprisco.com. You can see a bunch of information about him. You can hear some of his music. He plays the coolest jazz guitar ever. And if you want to visit my mom, you can just Google her because her stuff's all over the place, and she's Betsy Brown. So I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed my first webisode. Thanks.